If you enjoy farm podcasts, then tune into Carrot Cash Flow for all things farm business. Join us as we explore the latest trends, tips, and stories from market farmers running businesses just like yours. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe to Carrot Cash Flow today.
So if you can give us kind of like the overview of who Logan Labs is and what the work that they do.
Well, Logan Labs started around, although I'm not an employee, they started around 2000. And the lab was started by Joel Simmons and Susan Shaner. Susan Shaner had worked with me through Brookside Laboratories. And then I left Brookside and came over to Logan. But they've been in, now it's almost impossible to think they've been in business almost a quarter of a century now. But Susan has now retired and Joel has the control of the lab, but they pretty much have the same people. And that's one of the things I like about Logan is that they're not running people through like you see at the university where they just got students in there that may or may not care, but these people have been there forever, and they're good. They're conscientious. Their turnaround time is 3 to 5 days, and I think they're competitively priced on everything.
Mm-hmm. And what all, as far as when from the results that you receive to then give recommendations for, what are the different testings that they do? That, like, what services do they have available to customers?
Okay. Well, they do a complete soil test, and this is something that I highly recommend, especially if you're growing vegetables. They run a standard test, which includes all the trace elements, the normal cations, calcium, magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, sodium, plus base saturation. They run organic matter, pHs, the trace elements, boron, iron, manganese, zinc, copper. And then you can ask for what they call their test with extras, which means it'll also run silicon, cobalt, selenium, and molybdenum. And then they also do, besides that, what I call a standard or a big package standard test, they run a paste test. And the paste test is nothing more than a water extraction. And what they do is they'll take your sample, they'll take a pretty good size sample, 200 to 400 grams, and they'll bring it up to like a pancake batter consistency and hold it in that solution for 24 hours, vacuum the water off, and look what nutrients are moving into solution. That is really what the plants see, with the exception of copper and 50% iron. All the nutrients are picked up by either mass flow or diffusion, which means they're picked up out of solution. So it makes perfect sense to be able to run a paste test to see what the plants are seeing. It also, that paste test correlates much better to a tissue analysis than, say, a standard test. You're hard pressed to correlate a standard test with a tissue analysis. It just doesn't work, because that standard test is not only looking at what's soluble, but what's potentially available.
Yeah.
So they're extracting with a Melic 3 in a standard test, which has a pH of 2.5. So it's taking potential nutrients and bringing it into the solution so that you kind of get to know, well, what's in the bank account, and the paste test is saying, well, what you got in your wallet. So
yeah, what's liquid? I mean,
yeah,
I guess with the paste test, it's literally what's liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then plus they'll do water, irrigation waters. They'll also do tissue analysis, and then they have access to other labs if they want to farm something out that somebody wants that they don't run or they can't run. And I just talking to the owner the other day, and I said, I think that's really important to partner with some other laboratories, good labs that you know, because you want to do what you do best. And they're extremely good at what they do. And if you get more tests, then you got to get more people, more equipment. There's just more chances of having some problems. So working with partner labs, for example, I'll run on corn, I'll run a stalk nitrogen test. And that's a test that's done at physiological maturity. It's a section of the stalk off the ground about 6 inches, and then the next 8-inch section of stalk. And I'll do that to analyze, well, how well did we do on our nitrogen application for the corn? So they can't run that. So they'll take, if I give it to them, they'll send it off to a lab and get the results. It just makes it convenient for me, and it's more inconvenient for them is really what it is. But they're just trying to try to keep their clientele happy.
Hey there. Want to spend less time pulling weeds? Check out Soil Shield by Modern Grower. It's the pre-cut landscape fabric solution to help you drastically reduce weed pressure. Just roll it out, staple it down, and plant. Then let it do the work for you. Say goodbye to endless weeding and hello to more free time. Plus, it's high quality, durable, and will last for years, saving you time and money in the long run. It's available in a variety of row and hole spacings to accommodate all the crops that vegetable farmers grow. Learn more about Soil Shield landscape fabric at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.